You on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. And yes, next week. Wait, the 20th is packed.
No, I know, but there's the 140 unification too going on.
Yeah.
With
Maurice, what was his name? Hooker and I don't know, just one of those days.
Talk to the people.
Well, we're getting set up. They're going to be talking to us. Yeah, Hooker fights next
Ramirez. Carlos Ramirez, the world champ, the WBC champ. How do you got that one, man? What do you think?
That's a tough one. I may have to go with Hooker in that one.
Are you really?
I think I'm going to go with Ramirez in that one. What do you think, Justin?
My shirt.
You know Hooker too.
Ass in this.
Hooker, Ramirez.
What's that?
I'm going to side with you, Mr. Rodriguez.
That's Ramirez.
You're going with Ramirez?
Ramirez was Olympian.
You know.
The WBC champ, and he's Robert's fighter. Hooker is
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really.
Yeah. Hooker is one of Dallas's guys. You know Dallas.
Yeah, I don't
Texas.
watch. I don't know much on these two guys.
No.
So before I give that official pick, guys, I'll put it on the punchline. I will go watch and do some research because I hate losing on the picks. So I will do that.
I'm gonna take.
What do you? And then we got.
Chances are I may, and I'm allowed to go with Ramirez too after I watched.
You can go with anybody. Yeah. Who are you going to go with? We got Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. How do you think that one's going to play?
I am. You know what? I'm leaning towards Pacquiao. Listen, I understand that Father Time could fucking not be on his side and show up, and I still got to lean towards him though. I do in this fight.
I think I'm going to agree with you on this fight. I think I'm going to take Manny too. Yeah. I know people are going to say, "Oh, but it's not that." I think I've seen a lot of holes in Thurman, especially his last fight with Josecito Lopez, and I think those are things that Manny will make him pay for.
Inactivity. Too.
Inactivity.
His 22nd fight and how long?
Oh yeah. Well, I think if Thurman spent more time in camp training than he did running his mouth, I think he would be a lot better than he is.
Side note, in the future, don't wear yellow shirts. Almost as bad as green.
It looks badass, actually.
It does. It looks like a ghost.
Yeah, it looks like camouflage. Like.
How about red? Red okay?
Oh yeah, red's right.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it looks pretty good.
Solid blue.
See how mine looks?
Depending on the shape.
It looks pretty cool. You look like one of those '90s rock stars. Remember the '90s band like Tesla?
Yeah. James Burrell said, "Hey gents, Tesla's a badass group." Said the yellow shirt has you looking like a ghost, KP.
He is a ghost.
He is
El Fantasma.
Boo.
What's up? What's up, brother? How you doing, Aaron?
But actually, some good fights last night, and there was a fight with a kid at featherweight.
Yeah.
That I think looked like a freaking monster last night.
Who's that?
Joe, motherless goat. Gonzalez.
Oh, Gonzalez, yeah.
Joanne.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He looked good. He's not even, you know, and the thing is, he's not even ranked in the top 10 right now.
No.
He looked tough. That'd be, I mean, and he's in the same weight class as Shakur.
Yeah.
I think that would be for Shakur Stevenson, like Andre Ward said, shouldn't be in a hurry. I think that would be a nice fight for him, where he'll definitely get tested in that fight. So.
Abel says, agreed. Thurman talks too much, but he tries to sell the fight, at least hopefully. Why has a big mouth? You know, I agree, Abel. He'll sell the fight, but he don't sell the fight right. You know what I mean? When you're constantly berating your guys' skills, I mean, that's not selling a fight. That's just being petty. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that Manny Pacquiao can fight. Everybody knows Manny Pacquiao's a legend. And for him to say, oh, Manny Pacquiao's always been overrated, that's ridiculous. That's stupid talk.
It's disrespectful to boxing. Michael Donahue says, where do you guys think Danny Garcia is within the welterweight division? I think he gets overlooked a lot.
I think he's in the top 5. He's a
I
monster,
put him in the top 5. I don't think he gets overlooked.
No.
You're talking about a weight class that's filled with talent, though. I mean, unfortunately, even the guys that are kind of falling off, like Thurman, I think Thurman still could beat Danny Garcia. Obviously,
he has beat him.
Yeah. Obviously, Spence and Crawford won that fight. So,
yeah. Damon has a good question. Is Stevenson taking too long to develop? I don't think so. I think that Stevenson's developing the way he should. Yeah. I never thought Shakur Stevenson was the top of those young fighters that came out at that time. He wasn't the best of them, and I think Top Rank may have known that coming out. And I think some fighters need a little longer developed than others.
I think he's, for that weight class, he's solid right now. I definitely have him top 2, 3 in that weight class. But talent-wise, absolutely.
There's no way I'd put him anywhere near
Talent-wise?
Leo Santa Cruz and
I'm talking
Russell.
about, I'm talking about talent-wise.
Oh, I thought. Oh.
No, I said talent-wise.
I thought you were
but-
talking about like as his
No,
record.
But I mean, yeah, he obviously definitely needs some time to fine tune and get the experience and mature in that weight class. And not long, but maybe another year.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying, you know, a fight with some of these other guys. But talent wise, he's definitely in the top, one of the top guys.
Keon says DDD is going to be a beast in the heavyweight division. I agree. Yeah. Stevenson destroyed his opponent. But that was supposed to happen. Exactly. He was supposed to. I don't know. I think Danny Garcia. Back to Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia is a really good fighter, and we talked about last week with Danny. Danny's a basic fighter, and when I say basic, I use it as the most respectful term in the world. He does everything well. He doesn't do anything great. He comes through and he puts punches together and he can punch, and he's fast enough. He does and I think he's one of those guys that are really good being basic. And I have him there. He's a good fighter.
What's up, Damon? Yeah, he is. But I still don't. I mean, I don't think he's going to be. I don't know how to put it.
I think he's getting older.
5 right now.
Yeah, he's getting. And you know what? I think right now he's ready for a more dynamic fighter to beat him. There's more dynamic fighters that can beat him.
I think it'll be really hard for him anytime soon, like in the next year, to win a title.
That weight class, I think it's hard for anybody out of those top 3, out of those 3 guys to win a title in there. Right now you have Sean Porter and Errol Spence. And that's going to clear some things up quick. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't even know where I would go in that fight. Right now, I would lean towards Errol Spence, to be honest with you.
And let's be honest on this. We're talking about where he ranks in the welterweight division. He's got a hell of a fucking fight on his hands coming up.
Yeah.
So.
Who's that?
Danny Garcia.
Oh, yeah. Mikey. That's a whole nother ball of worms there in itself, you know. And like I said, Danny is a full welterweight, but Danny's not a big welterweight. Danny's 140 pounds. Mm-hmm. He really is 140 pound fighter. 147. Exactly. And people say, well, I don't like Mikey at 47. Well, Mikey's a 140 guy too. I think this guy's a little closer. And like I said, Mikey might be a little more too dynamic, a little more dynamic than Danny. But let's see how it plays out. What did Errol Spence take out of Mikey? That's what I'm wondering. You know?
See, I don't think. I mean, he took an ass whooping, but
it wasn't.
And nothing where he got hurt, rocked, dropped.
No.
And that's usually when the brain gets scrambled. Yeah. That's when a fighter loses something.
But do you find at a fighter at 39-0, do you find it does take a toll on them losing their first fight like that? Because I'm asking, what were you when you lost your 27-0?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, it's and especially if Mikey knew it was not his night, or that he was up there and bit off a little more and he could chew that quick, jumping into a weight class, and not only jumping into a weight class, really 2 weight classes above.
Yeah.
Or 3 actually, and you fight the top big dog that's a naturally big welterweight who's a fucking monster. Mikey in the back of it saying, "Oh, you know what? A big payday. I bit off more than I could chew. I'll go. My next fight, I'll pick somebody a little more realistic. And go on from there."
True.
Damon goes, "Kelly, you see the heavies last night? Any of them got you licking chops for a comeback?" No. You know what? And watching them guys, that was horrible, but. Nothing. They're still big motherfuckers. They're 6'7", 6'6".
Yeah.
That Viking dude. I was gonna send that one to Thor.
You'd have Thor training next week.
No.
This Diet Mountain Dew tastes like shit. I don't know. It usually tastes good. I don't know what's going on tonight.
Makes me poop in it.
What?
Yeah.
Probably that pussy last night.
Or
fucked my
ass.
palate up. That fucking pussy fucked my palate up.
I hope it wasn't dark in there and you're eating ass.
It's all relevant at that point, right?
At that point, yeah.
Chocolate starfish always.
Hey, don't believe that shit. Chocolate starfish tastes like a rusty penny. It doesn't taste like chocolate.
Yeah. James Burrell says, "Did you guys see the White Magic kid from New Jersey? It was only his debut, but that KO was unreal."
Dude, them kids from Jersey and Brooklyn right now, those white kids are monsters. I don't even know where they came from.
Yeah, Michael Donahue says, "What do you guys think of a potential Andrade versus Canelo fight?" I would like to see that happen, but I think I got Canelo in that fight.
I think right now, I think the decision is. I personally, I don't have any verification, guys, or not like that. I'm just saying I think the decision's been made already for Canelo, who those fights are going to be right now, and I think it's either going to be Kovalev at 75, or it's going to be probably Andrade back at 60. It's gonna be one of those two. Darren said, any word when Spence Porter fight gets announced? I have no idea. Right now, negotiations are rough with that fight. When you have two guys like that, you know, and they're both champions, it's time consuming.
Yeah, definitely. Damon goes, Mikey can still dominate 140. He's not done yet. Fans are just impatient. Well, I kind of agree with you, Damon, but let's see what happens at this fight at 147. I mean, Mikey beats Danny Garcia. That's a pretty big win.
Yeah. I think a lot of people jumped off that whole Mikey wagon quick, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Mikey won't beat anybody.
Oh.
Mikey could move to 112. He wouldn't beat Chocolatito.
I know.
You know what I mean?
So
Dude.
I definitely agree with Damon. He'll definitely clear out 140.
Oh, I agree with Damon 100%. Yeah. But I'm saying for the most part, I see people say, like, if Mikey went to 135, he'd fucking lose, too.
Boxing fans, and I was just talking with a kid about this.
Yeah.
Boxing fans and MMA fans, we could knock MMA, but I tell you what, their fans, these guys have 10, 12 losses. Like that dude got knocked out with the knee.
True.
He's bigger now than he ever was because of how he acted after and how he responded.
Oh, Ben
to
Askren? Ben Askren? And he's a fucker.
Yeah, and he's getting fucking blowed up now. As we're in boxing, you're done. Like that loss, you get knocked out in 2 seconds. Coyton's your career. Coyton's on a career.
Ben Askren's an amazing fighter, period, though, prior to that. But you're right. If you had a record in boxing, if you had the same record you do in boxing as you do in MMA, you'd be cleaning dishes at the fucking Olive Garden. Do you know what I mean? You'd be scraping dishes
after the fight, after your last fight. Yeah.
If you went in the ring 21-21, dude,
well, there's some guys that are still fighting.
But they should be cleaning dishes at Olive Garden, right?
Yeah, locally.
They're gonna get mad at you.
Fuck.
See, hey, you're coming around finally. You're fucking coming around. I don't give a fuck. When did this Kelly pop back into town? He's been gone for a year.
Tired of it.
Abel says Mikey should smash the 140s for a while. He's taking a huge risk. Like I said, in normal circumstances, I would say, yeah, Abel, but Danny Garcia's a 140 guy himself that just fights at 47. Yeah. He's a small guy. If you've ever been around him, you'll see he's not a big guy.
And Mikey's getting paid well for it. I mean, he's...
Another $8 million?
I personally believe Mikey could go down as a Hall of Famer right now. If he retired tomorrow, Hall of Famer from the divisions that he captured, the record he has.
Bro, Sylvester Stallone's in the Hall of Fame. There's anybody in the Hall of Fame at this point. You know what I mean? He never fought a fight.
Yeah.
Brendan says, Andrade deserves a fight with Canelo, but there's no way Canelo wants that with Andrade style, right? Oh, I don't think that Andrade deserves that fight. He's fought a fight every 2 years. How do you put yourself in line or deserve a fight when you can't even fucking fight within every 18 months?
Yep.
No, and that style?
Hey, Burrell goes for you, James. Says Kovalev versus Yardy was just announced.
I would probably...
I think it was yesterday.
Well, there we go. Then we know where that fight's going.
Yeah, so Amy Green goes, so Kovalev, Canelo, ? Curious. Kelly, thoughts on Canelo making this move? Well, if they're not fighting, then that's good. I don't like the move for Canelo. I think it's, again, just talking about Mikey fighting Spence. I think it's the same thing, Canelo fighting Kovalev. I truly do. I think it's too much.
It was the same thing as Spence wanting to fight Canelo. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So... I don't like that for Canelo wanting to fight Kovalev. I think it's too much right now. I think Canelo's got shit on his side right now, and he's in a division where he could dominate that. Stay there. Yeah. I wouldn't even fuck with super middleweight if I was him with Benavidez and that.
Benavidez is a killer.
Yeah.
Benavidez is a killer, and I'm like, and like stay away from
6'2.5",
bro. And then you got Bivol there at 168 now too. You got Bivol 5'11".
Yeah, exactly.
168, and he was hurting people at 75.
Yeah. And I say this, that's the issue. Like, not knocking Canelo at all. Canelo, I think, is just on fire right now, and he's great for the sport. And he already showed him, and he's fought a lot of people, and he's jumped up in weights, and he's doing his thing right now. Yeah. And I think that's great. And let him keep doing it. Like, clear out Billy Joe Saunders, Andre, Charlos, rematch whoever he wants to again. And then slowly maybe move into 168. Stay away from jumping to Kovalev.
And before we get it farther, people are going to say, "Oh, you guys just love Canelo." That's absolutely not true. Like, I'm not a Canelo fan.
He got beat by Mayweather.
I think he got beat by Triple G the first fight. I think Triple G smoked him the first fight.
I thought.
I thought he won the second fight against Triple G. I had it 117, 111. Yep. Triple G over Canelo the first fight, and had it 116, 112 in the second fight with Canelo over Triple G. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much more honest that you could get.
Exactly.
And I think Lara beat Canelo. I think Lara beat Canelo as well. Or I really did. I don't know about Trout, but I think Lara beat him. But Brandon said he's been a lot more active since being with DAZN. 4 fights. I understand, and I'm not arguing, Brandon, but who's he fought in those 4 fights that puts him in that position to say he deserves Canelo?
Mm-hmm. Damon, I'm going to get to that because that's another one I want to clear up real quick. But let me get these guys. Jose Alessandra says, Andrade's footwork looked so bad compared to Canelo's. How do people say Canelo's ducking Andrade when it looks like even Jacobs can beat Andrade? You know what? That's the fight I'd like to see. Man. I think Jacobs deserves to fight a guy like Andrade for a fairly good payday.
Well, I think people are shitting on Jacobs too. They don't realize this dude was the best middleweight in the world.
He lost 2 really close fights to 2 top middleweights.
And arguably, he beat Triple G. I had him beating Triple G in that fight.
Very good point. So, Damon or Kelly James, does Canelo blow his load in the third match? Yeah, Damon, I wouldn't want to see that fight.
I think it's just bad for boxing, period.
But let's go to the question that Damon asked.
Okay.
Andy Ruiz calling shots for AJ rematch. Okay, is he the A side? No, he's not. And let me explain why. When you fight, so that means 2 fights later, that fight for the title, you sign a contract. And 90% of the time when you fight for the title, there is a rematch clause in place. It happened with me and Jermaine Taylor. And Jermaine Taylor had a catch weight and everything set up in that for the rematch clause if he lost. So I had to go about fighting at the catch weight at what he wanted, because it was in the contract. And I'm sure when Ruiz signed the contract, now we don't know what was in that contract or what stipulations were, if anything, but no, Ruiz does not call the shots for this fight. Now, after this rematch with Ruiz or Joshua, then yes, he calls the shots because he's setting up his rematch clause and everything else. But for this next fight, if it is scheduled to rematch Joshua, he has no fucking say, guys. So please stop with that shit that he's the A side and he's calling the shots, because that contract's already signed, and whatever's in that contract, he has to do.
You know, me and Kelly, I think we talked about this that night when we first read that post and people arguing, saying that the champion has the side. And I said to myself, the only people that believe that the world heavyweight champion has a say on his first defense is people that still believe in the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and non-fat and fat-free chocolate. That's the only ones. A lot of times what they do, there's a stipulation in contracts. They call if you guys look it up, you can Google it. It's called, what was the word that was used? My brain just, what is it? No. No, it's a championship contingency plan. That's what they call it. And they already have in the contract what happens if their champion loses. And in that contingency plan, it has the rematch clause, the site they want the fight in, the side of the gloves, they have everything already put together.
And not to argue that point, you're right. But that is with certain, now, that changes for every commission and sanctioning body and promotional company also. But yeah, they do have that. So yes, with that being said, people don't know who say that, really don't have a grasp. They think they know a lot about boxing, and it's understandable. How would they know about that? I mean,
they don't.
They don't know. But there is and when you have people telling you 40 times on a boxing group, a guy who had to deal with rematch clauses.
Well, I had to ask Joe Goosen about it, because Joe deals with contracts, obviously, with Goosen and Tudor. So he says that a lot of times that's what they have. It's called a contingency contingency champion plan, and it's for if their fighter loses, how are they going to get? And he did not his words. How are they going to make more money out of this fighter from this
and give him a chance
and give him another chance?
Now, granted, too, that was another one that was brought up. Do they need these contracts to still be a contender or fight for a world title again? No, Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua, and I think he's already been champ long enough.
He's going to sell out,
and he's going to turn
regardless.
Yeah, and he's going to turn around his next big fight no matter what and still make buku money. But it's just what's been happening in boxing for a long time. And no, so unfortunately, guys, Ruiz is not on the A side right now.
Well, when you won your title, were you on the A side after you won?
No, I had to fulfill the contractual agreement that I signed for the rematch clause. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to fight at 66. I was content making him. It was better for me to make him make 60 again and struggle. But you know what? I signed the contract and I had to.
And it was still the same outcome.
Yeah, and I had to go by the rules of the contract that I signed.
Did you consider that a harder fight than the first one?
Yeah, Jermaine's great.
No, I know that. But
he
I was
knew
saying,
that fight. He knew.
I just thought your boxing was so much better than the second one. Like
you
boxed the shit out of him.
I did.
You know, I watched that fight a few days ago.
But he fought good too.
But I was like, shit. I was like, Kelly's on his toes because you're on your toes.
You see that quick counter I had with the hook and everything?
I saw the one with when you granny each other right hand. He threw a right and you granny each other back, hit him with the same right. Yeah. I was like, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. Hit him with the.
He a bad mofo.
You hit him right in the snout.
Snizzle.
Right in the snout.
Yep, right in the power.
What was that? Round 6? Or something like that, round 6 or 7 when you granny each other hit him. I said, Kelly's fighting like he's black.
That 11th round, man, I made him poop himself with that body shot too. That right hand. Emilio goes, hey guys, cool to have show back. Can you break down the kinetic chain of the rear cross? Does the pivot start at the rear foot or same time as the hip rotation? Same time as the hip rotation, but it does start with the back foot, but they all should move together.
And everything in unison, everything moves. Mm-hmm. That foot, the calf, the thigh, the hip, the shoulder, the back, everything moves all together in one unit. And that's where the real power of the punch comes from. A lot of people think that power's in the biceps or power's in the fist, and the power is from your legs in the ground and your hips and
back and just the torque on it,
the leverage. Because speed is power.
It is definitely. Damon, the question is for James. How about Maurice Hooker dogging on Ortiz Jr.?
He's just trying. You know what? I saw the post. Good question, though, Damon. I saw the post, and I did say something to Maurice Hooker about it because I like Virgil, and I said, and Virgil Sr. had commented too. I think Maurice had said something about like it's not Virgil's time, that he's not his time, he's not that impressive or whatever the case is. And I wasn't disrespectful to Maurice Hooker because I like Maurice Hooker. I've met him a couple times already and he's always been kind. But my job is to kind of call a spade a spade. And as much as I like Maurice, I love Virgil. You know, I mean, he's his family are close friends. So I'm loyal. And I was like, Maurice, you're a great champion and you are the champion. There's no reason to dim that man's light bulb to make yours shine brighter at this point. You're already a champion.
If he's not a champion yet, you want to see him become champion and that way you guys could fight and it's more and build it up.
And like I said, it's no disrespect on Maurice. I just saw that as a slight. Mm-hmm. And I think somebody from your own neighborhood, they're from the same town. They're both from Dallas. Yeah. And I just saw that as, you want to support these guys.
That goes into the same thing that's happened here in Youngstown, and it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
When you get that between two stars in one city, you get the person who wants to be the face. You want everybody to know that they're the face of Dallas, or they're the face of Youngstown, or the face of Oxnard.
Let your fist do the work.
Yeah.
Your fist will prove that.
Exactly.
How long did it? You never went around telling anybody you were the face of boxing in Youngstown, did you?
No, I think everybody already knew I was.
Figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the only undisputed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep hyping myself real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Here.
Stats don't lie.
Is this thing on?
No, but it does happen.
No, it's true. You're right. Dan says, who do you favor in Ruiz Joshua? Can AJ refocus and improve? That's why I lean to Wilder Fury. Who would you take, Kelly? Joshua or Ruiz in the rematch? I'm gonna take Joshua.
But see, the shit comes down to what Joshua does different. If Joshua stays away and tries to lose some of the muscle and start doing like a lot of endurance training, to get the muscles into like long distance training, I would definitely favor Joshua. I think he beats Ruiz. But if he goes into the fight with the same training camp, I got Ruiz again.
I can see that. What's up, Megan? That's my girl there. JD, what's with the hat, shave, and no glasses? It's my Mikey Garcia hat. I got it from Mikey. And I just had to shave a little bit because it was starting to get itchy, and it's summertime. Michael
Donahue, how much should an amateur boxer soar per week?
Soar? Spar.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No more than a couple times, 2 or 3 times. You don't need to spar that. What do you think? You don't need to spar that much. Dude, you're training for 3 rounds.
Yeah, you can do 3 rounds too. I mean, you don't need an amateur don't need to spar 6 rounds.
You know, I always told my guys too, and I had coaches say, there's no reason for an amateur to run 15 miles a day. There's not. Sprints. Keep it short. Your sparring needs to be maybe 5, 6 rounds. You don't need to be a lot.
Well, what happens with that too, you should really try to imitate how you fight in all training.
Yes.
With everything you do in training, even your strength and conditioning. So if you start getting an amateur and you're sparring him 6 rounds to fulfill your professional guy's needs,
Yeah.
he's going to get in the habit of fighting and pacing himself for 6 rounds because nobody wants to get their ass ripped in 4th or 5th round. So now you're taking him out of his element and out of his style and out of the amateur style. And so you want him to spar what he's fighting.
True. Dan said he wanted to know if I was going incognito from the Holyfield comments. Well, hell yeah, I'm hiding from Evander Holyfield. I saw the commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
George Underwood got a good one. What's next for Manny Pacquiao if he beats Sturman? How many fights do he have left? And where does he rank? George, we don't know how many fights he has left. If he wins, though, you got to kind of give him a shot at the top dogs.
And I would worry about him with those top dogs.
I would too.
Crawford and Spence are a whole different story. Even for Manny, he's just too little for them too.
Yeah.
But if he does, he's definitely put himself down as one of the greatest fighters ever.
By fall.
Esteban says, anyone catch ESPN short this Thursday on Teofimo Lopez? All he mentioned was Loma. I know Loma, but shit. But they're putting fights out there for Lopez. You know what though? With Teofimo's a great kid. We've met him a lot, and his dad's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to hype things right now.
He wants a shot.
Yeah, and Lomachenko takes them about as serious as we do because we were there in New York. Were you in New York last time with us? Were you there when he didn't try to insult him? That was Justin and us. When Teofimo tried to insult Lomachenko laughed in his face and turned around and walked away. Lomachenko's not playing that game with them. Lomachenko, no, but you know he got in. Teofimo got in Lomachenko's face and called him a pussy. Lomachenko just laughed and walked away. I mean, and at the time it's Teofimo.
Well, what does Lomachenko got to
get mad?
Yeah, exactly. And secondly, Lomachenko probably knows that eventually there's a good possibility of them fighting sooner than later.
It's gonna happen.
So hey, Lomachenko is playing it smart. Why am I going to put this kid down? Call him names, get an argument, then go on camera and say he's a bum, he ain't beat nobody yet, he don't deserve a shot at me, and then poof, 8 months later, him and Lomachenko are fighting and Loma beats him, and now you just call this guy a bum, he ain't no good, he ain't fought nobody. It just damaged your win.
Sometimes there's more power in silence. Not saying anything is more power.
You ever notice every quiet guy who didn't talk shit are always your badass dudes that whip ass.
Yeah.
Blah blah goes, awesome to have the show on. Great boxing insight, Kelly. You're one of my favorite fighters, mate. You're from either the UK or Australia. As a top middleweight, where do you rate a prime James Toney in shape? Skills, chin, power. Ooh.
Defense.
Yeah, I rate him up there.
I think he was right below Roy Jones at that time. He had to be.
Just see what hurt James Toney and stopped him from having a full package was he didn't throw enough punches.
His discipline too.
Discipline and throwing punches. I think James Toney, if he would have threw more punches and stuff and stayed active, he probably definitely go down one of the top guys in boxing, arguably.
Well, I know James Toney sure likes you. He talks about you on all the Ellie videos.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
We just missed him when we were in Ricky Funez's barbershop. We just missed him when we were in there. He walked in right after we did. And then that's if you look at the video, Ricky tells him he was just there. And he's like, "Where's Kelly? Where's my man?" I'm like,
yeah.
Cool. Hey, John says, Kelly and James, how you guys? I'm doing great. I think, I don't know, how you doing, Kelly?
Super, thanks for asking.
We're doing great. Brendan says, before Thurman's injury, he was at the top dog at 47. I feel too many people are writing him off.
No, that's before all the guys jumped up.
Yeah, I think that's before everybody jumped up. I agree. Yeah. And I think that's also before he looked like shit in his last fight with Tosacito.
Yep.
I'm not writing Thurman off. I think he's a great fighter, but we're talking about Manny Pacquiao. That's what we're talking about. And we're talking about a guy who continues to keep it. As much as I've said that Manny's going to get beat in his past 3 fights, he's proved me wrong in every fight. I had Adrian Broner fucking him up.
Listen, it's hard to keep picking Manny Pacquiao Every fight that I pick it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because of his age.
Yeah,
Mainly
he's
because of his
41 years
age.
old.
So, and at any time, he's due to show that he's 41 years old and lose the fight. And then, of course, everybody be like, you guys were wrong on that pick. You know what you're talking about. But that's why I always stress that. Like, it's hard picking him. But I'm going to go with it for this fight. I think Manny's going to get up for it. He's going to pick it up, and he's going to win the fight. Let me see on this. Yeah, blah blah goes. I'll show you, mate. Thanks for breaking it down, fellas. Champs.
Steph, my cousin Stephanie's watching.
Oh yeah, Mike Lee and Caleb Plant next week.
Oh, foot long, dude. I hate to tell you, but Caleb Plant's gonna fuck him up, man.
I agree. Listen, I like Mike Lee. I like his family. Actually, you know, my dad and his dad were close for a while.
Yeah.
They talked, and I knew Mike, but I just unfortunately think that Mike was brought up and pampered. He's been pro for a long time now.
Long time.
And he inactive a lot, and you're going in there with a guy now that can fight. So
Yeah, a guy that doesn't play. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think Caleb Plant is getting better and better every fight too, though. And I don't know. Every time I see Caleb Plant, I was like, oh, I don't know how good he is. And then every time I see him, I see he's getting better and better.
He is. My only concern, and again, and I didn't care, I think Caleb Plant is a fantastic fighter. I really do. I just worry about his conditioning. I think he exerts too much energy early on, and come later in the rounds, he gets tired quick, you know. I think if he could fix that, he's definitely somebody to reckon with.
Julian's back, Julian Johnson. This is Esteban. Hate when people jump from Ali to Tyson. Is Larry Holmes a forgotten great heavyweight? I don't think so. Do you? I don't think Larry Holmes is forgotten. I think Larry Holmes is fantastic.
I just seen Larry Holmes at the Atlantic City Boxing Hall
Yeah,
of
but
Fame.
he thought maybe people forgot about him. No, I
he
think
got
Larry
bombarded.
Holmes, bro, Larry Holmes, skill-wise, might have been one of the greatest heavyweight champs ever.
Yeah.
Just skills. Just his punches were always perfect. His timing was great. And he didn't look like he was in shape. He never looked like he was, great. But the dude, that jab was destroying people's lives.
Yep. Where do you guys, James Burrell, where do you both rate Joe Calzaghe? Argue with some people that I feel underrate him.
I have him rated as one of the top fighters ever.
I do too.
As one of the greatest ever at 68. Do I think he was better than Roy Jones? No, I think he picked Roy Jones at the right time.
Yeah, but I mean, what he did was still great. I mean,
Yeah,
he beat Miguel Kessler in his prime.
Lacey.
If he slapped or not, he slapped the shit out of people. You can't.
Their faces didn't look like he got slapped.
Exactly. Like you can say all you want about Joe. I mean, again, as biased when you say that if you don't put him in one of the top guys, especially one of the top super middleweights of all time, that's just pure bias and dislike for certain reasons.
Calzaghe was the greatest fighter I think that ever came out of the UK.
And that's facts.
I think he was the greatest fighter ever come out of UK.
Hey, I was supposed to fight the guy, and I didn't like, his dad irritated me, and I wanted to fight him in a heartbeat.
You made it up. You made up for it fighting his fighter.
Yeah, but but you know what I mean? So like what I'm saying, I'm still mad to this day that I get the fight, but you're not going to sit here and see me say that he sucked and that he wasn't good.
Yeah.
And he's one of the top guys of all time at that weight class.
I watched that fight maybe a year ago, and I thought that's the closest fight to a prison rape that I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
When you fought Enzo's boy.
Rocket Lockett?
Yeah, you fought Lockett. That was the closest thing I've ever seen to a prison rape. He just took knee. He just kept taking knee after knee, didn't he?
It was fun.
It looked like he was running backwards.
You know what my buddies did, like Dirt and them guys, after we go golfing?
They take a knee?
Yeah, every time somebody hit a bad shot, everybody would just take a knee like they do Lockett.
The only time that pissed me off is when
we should start bringing that back.
Remember that one chick that always get on? Remember that one chick that I'm not gonna say her name, but she get on the page and she always talk shit about Gary Lockett. Remember that? And one day I got tired of it and I told her, I said, "Would you just shut your fucking mouth?" I said, that man would crack your skull open and your junkie boyfriend's skull. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And you talk about that man, you make fun of him for that.
Lockett wasn't a bad fighter.
He was undefeated, right?
Yeah, he was just overmatched. Like I watched film on him. Obviously, I mean he could fight. Obviously not a top guy, but he could fight.
They're gonna ask. Dan says, Kelly, what was your issue with Enzo? What was your issue with Enzo? He just talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, he did. I mean, a big time. And I wanted to fight his son. I mean, guys, I never got into arguments at press conferences or anything like that. But inside, I was going, "Shut up! I want to fight your son." That was it.
Julian says, wasn't the inside of gloves a violation of the amateurs? Absolutely. Hitting with the inside of your gloves is a violation. You're not even supposed to hit with an open palm.
But how many open hands did you see in amateur?
I get smacked the fuck all the time with those things. That's the way a lot of the guys fought. Matter of fact, you know who was real big for that? His son just fought the other day. Ford. Desi Ford would smack the shit out of you with his open hands like that.
Oh, yeah.
And Terrence Calden would smack the fuck out of you like that too.
Oh, hey, speaking of which, before we get off, I want to talk about Johnny Ford. Razimi? Yeah. I got a video clip. I sent it to you, and you put the highlight. He stopped the kid with a jab.
I saw that.
I would like to do it. I mean, I talked to the kid a good amount, and
Where's the clip from? Backstream shut up?
it shouldn't. It was fights in Pittsburgh or whatever.
Esteban has a good one too.
The guy you know.
Esteban has, it's your guy.
The one's in Pittsburgh, the one's in Cleveland.
It was the fight they just had. I thought it was Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay.
Question for both of you guys. Did you ever have a punch combo that was your go-to punch or combo that was worried that you would become too dependent on it? Did you ever have a combo like that you became too dependent on?
Yeah.
1-2?
1-1-2.
I don't know. Maybe. You know. And
Try to catch me. Come on.
Kelly will tell you, training at Oxnard like he did too, they're really dependent on combos. They're combo heavy in that gym.
Yeah, but not combo heavy, like not combos that you're not going to throw, not combos that you throw in shadow box and look pretty.
No, but they're combo heavy.
Yeah.
But I think that we weren't at the level of Kelly was. We were amateurs, right? But as amateurs, we will take what we learn and we won't adjust to it. We'll use that. And then you'll see us use that 1-4-2-3-2 in every fight, because that's a big time Oxnard combo. Yeah. They love that. They love that straight left, that uppercut, that left hook, that straight right hand and left hook. They love that combo, and you'll get reliant and you'll start getting caught. So yeah, it can happen. But it happens less with the skilled pros because they adjust. But mostly amateurs, we get dependent on things because what works is what we use. Just an experience thing.
All right, Justin, I sent it over to you.
Okay. What do you think about Ford? What do you think about him?
I think he's sharp. Again, I think he's a kid that needs to be brought up right.
Yeah.
Time. He's going to be in a hurry too. A lot of young fighters are in a hurry. It's understandable, but I think he'll make a little bit of noise. It's still early to tell. He had a fairly good amateur career. He won a handful of Golden Gloves, this Ohio State Fair twice.
Yeah.
So 66 fights though as an amateur.
It's a good amount.
Yeah, he needs take his time coming up and go the route that he's going. He's 2-0, 2 knockouts. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Michael Cameron said, Algaba and Du Bois, who is better in your opinion? I really don't know. I know Du Bois. I don't know the other fighter, so I'm gonna have to go with Du Bois because I just don't know the other fighter that well. Like I said, I catch a lot of these fighters as I don't stay up on it because you guys, that's your guys' paycheck. Yeah. I catch them as they come in. I start studying them as I get the names, so I'll look them up.
Lost 96 says, does Shakur Stevenson have a shot with any of the current champions in his division? Absolutely. Not right now, though.
Not today. I was just going to say that. I think, for me, when those amateurs all came out, when all those amateurs came big, Teofimo, Virgil, they all came out at the same time. Shakur, Michael Conlon, Clarissa Shields, they all came out, all that time. Jamel Herring, help me out here, Errol Spence.
Yeah.
All those guys came out.
We get it.
To me, Shakur Stevens was that lower rung. Him and Michael Conlon were that lower level of those amateurs. Even though Shakur was an Olympic silver medalist, he just didn't have that dynamite these other guys had.
But if he's brought up and
he will
and groomed the right way, I think he could make more noise than all of them.
Yeah, he will.
Especially if he jumps to what would that be? Junior lightweight. James Burrell, he started slapping because his hands broke. He KO'd 21 of 22 before he broke his hands and started slapping. I understand that, James. And Jessica, who goes, Joe is a legend. Joe beat Hopkins and Jones. Awesome fight. Do you think he would have been more known if he would have fought more in America? Yeah, but he got more he got paid more and more fans showed up
in the UK, in Wales. In Wales, yeah. But no, I realize why he started But he's why he started slapping. But ask yourself this: that's a leadership breakdown. That's a trainer breakdown at that point. If he because he broke his hand, he's going to fight the rest of his career with an open slap. That's a breakdown in his leadership and his trainer. That should never even happen after that. You got to go back to the drawing board, strengthen his hand, and go back to doing what he did before. How many fighters break their hands in every fucking fight? I don't want to cuss all the time, but they break them and they go back to punching.
It didn't hurt him though.
No.
I mean, he did great. He did great slapping.
James, tomorrow and Tuesday is Amazon Prime Day. It's a good day to mention Chris Algieri's book. I'm trying to get it tomorrow, Tuesday. Yes, I love that book.
I didn't get it either.
You didn't get it?
No.
It's coming, he said. The fighter. You have his number? I'll give it to you.
I think I do.
Okay, yeah, I did.
Oh, you remember another guy? Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, there's a video of Yeah, I know what you mean. I was
I'm
joking.
actually just still talking, not paying attention.
I was joking.
Oh, it is? You can hear that jab to the body.
I'm using it now.
That's the hardest thing for a young fighter to learn and throw is that body work.
Hey, speaking of Greer, remember that was the other dude who was like on the scene for like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Greer. Remember him? He fought at like 132.
Was he from DC? Or
No,
Baltimore?
I want to say he was Midwest,
I thought Baltimore, DC.
or maybe it was Ronnie, but he was up there for a minute, like a good year
Yeah.
in the top. Yeah, I don't think he stands a chance against anyway.
There's a fight being shown over you. Can't hear it, either of you. Oh, they can't hear us because of the fight.
Oh, all right.
It's muted now.
Now okay, they got it now. Now we can hear you. But yeah, they're just showing Ford right now, the kid that just fought the other night. Kelly likes him a lot. His dad was a big time amateur. I think he has some pro experience too. But so they've been real big on him lately, and he stopped the kid on a body shot. Tom's watching. Tom Cordell. He's watching.
Damon says Joe catches a bad rap. Those slaps are all palm, which is straight muscle and string, and he committed to punches when he wanted to. Damon, those are slaps. He slapped the shit out of people.
He slapped him like Mommy Dearest. He put it on him, didn't he?
He slapped the shit.
You remember that movie?
Wire hanger?
Yeah.
He get in there and told Roy Jones, "No wire hangers ever." Whooped his ass.
He slapped people so hard they actually just stop and look at him and say they're sorry.
Take my belt right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I can pay the sanctioning fee on it. Don't just take it. Vargas didn't impress me. Oh man.
Yeah. Jessica goes, what's it like to fight among thousands of people? Do most boxers have fear before entering a ring? Yeah, they have fear. Not fear, nervous. Thousands of people, that's a good question. You know there's a lot of people in there, but you don't pay attention to it.
No.
Actually, the more experience you get and the more you fight around them, the more you use them. When it's not going your way, you don't want to hear the rants and the people talking. And when you need them, they come in. It's weird how that works. I mean, I can't explain it, but
did you search for certain people though at your fights? Did you look for cerent people?
no, but I heard certain people stand out.
Like
I
you
could tell who they were.
Did you look for your wife or your dad or your mom?
Yeah.
You didn't look for them?
Help.
Your brother? Look to see if Ricky's judging you.
Mm-hmm.
Pick any other guy.
Yeah. Kelly's not gonna win.
What?
Kelly's not gonna win.
Kelly's not gonna win this one. I'm telling you.
I'll put money on it.
What?
Shit, Lazy Fat Carol Cat's back. I
Oh,
haven't
he's
seen him in
back,
a while.
huh? He's back.
Goes, did any of your opponents pre-fight trash talk piss you off? Yeah, a handful of them.
Who pissed you off the most?
Miranda.
You didn't understand what he's saying,
That's
did you?
what made me mad. because he was like aggressive with it, man.
He was talking.
He talked shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes they would translate it, and it made me mad.
It made you mad, and then the translation wasn't even accurate. He was saying meaner shit than they were telling you.
Making me mad.
Did you see the Kameda and Vargas fight last night? That Kameda and Vargas, when they were translating that, and I said that is when Kameda was speaking Spanish to Vargas.
Oh yeah.
He told him to fight like a Mexican fucker, and then he goes, he wants you to fight like a man. I go, that's not what he said. That is exactly what I don't know why they do that. Just tell him exactly what he said.
Exactly. James said he still paid to see me fight. Johnny goes, Kelly, do you remember a guy named Lyrical Lizard that made the song about you? I was a kid that made the music video to that song. Still watch your fights from time to time. Good stuff, man. Thanks, bro. And actually, I do know. I can't remember which one because there's so many. My buddy Billy Smoles, he had a rock group, Tilt 360. And actually, it's a pretty sweet highlight film. You're in my range.
I heard that one.
Yeah.
That sounded like Korn.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
Hey, Tom said, a question for you, Kelly. Who do you like, Pac or Thurman? I know you answered that, but Tom
Pac.
Kelly's taking Pac, and I think I'm riding with Pac too, just because Thurman.
I know who you're going with. You're going with. If I pick Pac, you're going with Thurman.
Because Pac's basic.
Mm-hmm. Damon says, Kelly, what would James Dominguez be like if he was ranked pro with straps? Would he be a pain in the ass to negotiate and sell a fight with, or would he be humble?
No, I wouldn't be humble at all.
Yeah, you know, for damn well he wouldn't be humble. He'd be talking shit about everybody.
Hey, remember the Great White Hype? I'd be that.
Yeah,
I would be remember the dude that fought the white guy? What was his name? The one that had
Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans. I'd be Damon Wayans. Chasing the ice cream truck.
Fighting with managers and promoters and PR people. James, you can't say that. You cannot say you'll put him in a wheelchair and do this. I will put him in a wheelchair and bang his girlfriend on the 4th floor of a hotel and knowing he can't get up there. No, but I don't need a manager. You know, I don't need a manager. Yeah. You don't? That's what they always say. The fighters like that always say they don't need a manager. In 3 years, they're out of the sport. How did you guys train in regards to improving your footwork? How did you train, Kelly, to improve your footwork? I went out to the Wild West and had him shoot up my feet. He put a sombrero on and told you to dance? Yeah, dance. Step on hot coals. Believe it or not, I did. I kind of went on my own and worked on my footwork. You know, I kind of had to, and I would try as much as possible. But again, footwork, really going back to it, if you're going to work on your footwork, you got to work on it at the gym, in the ring, sparring, and put it in that way too. And just not in strength and conditioning workouts or speed and agility, but you got to try to put it in play with sparring and just get in the habit of it. I always found it easier if you're a good natural athlete. If you're a good athlete or natural athlete, footwork's a little easier for you than it would be if you're not very athletic. And I know it sounds common sense, guys. I know you guys are thinking, duh. But really, if you're good at other sports, football, baseball, soccer, and you take that footwork in the ring, you actually are so much better footwork-wise. Early on in my career in amateurs, my whole thing, I got as far as I did and was ranked as high as I was through footwork, through my boxing and bouncing and angles. And then, you know, of course, once I started knocking everybody out, I was kind of molded into that straightforward, walk you down, double the jab. Because you were hurting people. Yeah. And that's exactly, and after so long of doing that, even for like the first Taylor fight, I had a little bit of footwork. The second Taylor fight, I really worked on footwork. As much as I tried outside of boxing in my strength and conditioning and agility training, I was kind of already so far into the walk you down banging part of it that I never really was able to get that back. Yeah, I think sometimes trainers fall in love with their fighter's power and they want you to do that, you know. I played football and I played baseball, and I think that helped me a lot with footwork. You remember the karaoke exercises we do in football and the back pedal, and that helped so much. And I think maybe that's why Sergio Martinez is so far ahead of everybody else on his footwork, because he played soccer. He was a professional soccer player. But he probably also trained that way too. But James said James would be the new Prince Nassim Hamed. Ring walk on a magic carpet or ride in on Chopper like the Undertaker. He would. Dan got a good one. Guys, is Miguel Cotto underrated skill and power wise? No, he's
not at all. He's right where he needs to be.
I think everybody rates him high.
He's an all-time great.
And then Jessica goes, Kelly, do you think Triple G has been exposed to some level? What's your opinion? Why he doesn't move up in weight? No, I don't think he's been exposed. I think he fought two really good middleweights that, well, one was big. And personally, I don't see anything that Triple G besides his power that was quite amazing to me. So I don't know. I don't think he's overrated. I just think he's a really good fighter, a really powerful puncher and good boxer. But
why do you think he hasn't moved up? Do you think it's because he's just a small middleweight? He's not a big middleweight.
Yeah, he probably realizes that going up.
They say
dangerous.
They say Triple G's 5'10". He's 5'9".
But let me ask you this: would Triple G be able to land that chopping hook on Benavidez at 6'2.5"?
No.
Would he be able to land it on me? No.
It's just a hot size difference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So when you start going up in weight, you're getting that height. You're getting your top guys are going to be 6'2".
And he makes 60 so easily too. In 68, he's not a big guy. He walks around at 73, 74. He's not what you would call a big middleweight. I mean, you have guys like even Bivol who walked around at 177 and fought at 75. That's why he's at 68 now.
Yeah.
How would you go with that fight? That's something I'm Bivol and Triple G at 68.
Oh, Bivol.
Would you? What about Canelo and Bivol?
Bivol. It's too big. Naturally, and sometimes it's not about the size. Okay, here's a good point.
Yeah.
You get a guy like me or somebody who's tall and got a frame, and everybody's like, he could pack on the weight and carry that. And you probably could to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But don't take away from the fact that I'm used to fighting 160 pounders and 100, guys like that. When you start moving up and say like a guy like Bivol, who's coming down to 68.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a big middleweight who's going to who could probably put up to 68 and do decent. But now you're talking about a smaller light heavyweight, but who fought everybody and beat them at light heavyweight. And those guys that were coming down to make light heavyweight that Bivol beat were probably coming from 210 pounds, 215 pounds, or even over 200, and coming down, and he was beating them. Now Bivol is coming down to fight guys coming up.
Weren't you shocked though?
It's a big difference.
Weren't you shocked to see how small he was when we met him? Did you?
He still wasn't that small though.
He was
small, for 175, but he's my height.
He wasn't your height.
Yeah,
he's like 5'10".
He's that much shorter.
Maybe 6 foot. I don't know. He's not that tall. But remember what he said? What did he say to you when he saw you? Bivol doesn't speak English. Remember? Yeah. And he walked up to you and he tells Roger, "He's fucking big." That's what he said. Yep. He goes, Kelly. He goes, "He's fucking big."
Yep. We got two good ones right here. David says, Kelly James, what are some bad habits southpaws develop because they are southpaws that are hard to break?
Pawing. They paw with that lead punch.
And it's hard because there's no right way really for a southpaw to slip a punch.
We both agreed on one thing?
Yeah, we did.
Fuck. Hell yeah.
So I would say the pawing.
We said at the same time too.
Yep. And then lazy fat Carol Cachovi says, guys, who wins at 160? 2000 Hopkins or 2019 Canelo?
Hopkins. You're talking about a guy that was big. And also Hopkins was a big guy. Even at 60, he was coming down from 80. And he was a fit 180. He wasn't a fat 180. I don't think his waist was ever over 28 inches at any point in his life. But he was a muscular and big 180 coming down to 60. And then the skills and the tricks, I don't think even Canelo would have an answer for that. Fast.
Yeah, it was just first of all, just too big. He would have jumped in, frustrated Canelo, wrestled with Canelo.
Held his head down.
Canelo's wrestling now with a 6'2", probably at the fight 180. Bernard Hopkins.
With a 75-inch reach.
His speed, his timing.
I mean, you would know more than anybody on how good he is. But and they were talking about in 2009, he was a monster.
Yeah.
Esteban says Bivol's movement, power, and jab would be too much for a 40-year-old triple. And I agree. Dan said, regarding footwork, I remember an old timer saying to me that if you got footwork, you can box. And dance, another reason. I wasn't very good myself. Do you think boxers make good dancers? Either of you dancers? I'm absolutely not a dancer.
I can tear it up.
But Kelly can. But you know, I have heard of, like, Sugar Ray Robinson was a ballroom dancer, and I've heard a lot of the fighters back in the day, part of their training was dancing. Kovalev, or not Kovalev, Lomachenko took 4 years out of sport and mastered Russian dancing as a child, so he could be, his dad pulled him from Buckley for 4 years. And
Hey, what's the rumor to that? Him watching the kicking and all that shit, the videos. Did you see that?
Him kicking?
Yeah.
He has a black belt in Sambo.
Yeah.
He has a black belt in Sambo, and he also has a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I wonder if he is going to make that crossover.
I don't know. Would you think he will?
I think if they offer him the right mega $1 million fight.
Let me ask you that. Let me ask you, Justin. Lomachenko, being the boxer he is, right? Having that purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Magna, and then having the kickboxing and the Sambo. Do you think that would make him effective in MMA? Having all those skills?
I don't see why I wouldn't, especially if he's staying current with everything. I mean,
he said he just picked up his.
He's still working into his.
He just picked up his purple. He just picked up his purple belt.
If he's still got it in his regiment, he's been training like that. For the
I think
last
with his
7
natural
years.
fighting ability too. Even if you get it and try to get him to the ground.
That guy could do, in my opinion, that guy could do anything.
That's what I'm saying.
He's dedicated. He's got
Even if he just had even just with the boxing, and with how fast he is on his feet, if somebody tried to shoot in,
And
I think.
I'm a big Lomachenko fan.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've ever seen Justin go fanboys when he see Lomachenko. Lomachenko. Other than that, Justin don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's true too. He did. He trained Greco-Roman.
Yeah, with Greco-Roman wrestling. But I remember that. He said, I go, look. I'll be like, look. I'm not saying that would happen, but I was like, look. There goes Lennox Lewis. Justin, fuck him. I go, oh, there's Lomachenko. Where's Lomachenko at? Where's Lomachenko?
Where's that?
He has a Sharpie? Where?
It's true.
His hands all ready for the jacking part. Where's that? James said, or Damon goes, guys, Mikey's going to frustrate and force Danny Garcia to get sloppy.
I agree. I always agree with that too.
I think it's a strong possibility.
You know what? It's two guys that almost fight the same, except Danny's a little more, or Mikey's a little more polished. He's a little more polished than Danny. Danny, but you can't. The one thing that you can't take from Danny is his power.
Mikey's going to have to work that body.
Oh my God, he's going to have to go that body.
You know, Danny's going to be going.
Danny's gonna throw that left hook over and over and over until it reaches home. Because Danny don't even look at the left hooks. He's like the Harlem Globetrotters of boxing. He don't even look when he shoots. You know what I mean?
All right, James Burrell says Loma could cross over. He also. Oh, I read that one. Great story. Almost time to wrap it up.
Almost.
Yeah, we should do it in a funky internet connection.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you guys don't have anything else, we can call it a week.
We're gonna wrap it up for this week. And
Next week is Maurice Hooker, and so we'll be there for Carlos
and Mike Lee and
Mike.
Caleb.
Subway foot long. Is that what the commercial was he was in?
Yeah.
Him and the cat. How did he get that commercial, dude? They turned down 300 world champions, and they put Mike Lee in the commercial.
His dad's got a lot of money.
Okay, gotcha. So money before the fighting.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Stay tuned next week because we do have a lot to talk about. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of questions.
Hey guys, also, if you're on the subscribe to the Punchline page and start adding discussions, and we'll talk about what's going on the Punchline page. Subscribe, share, and like. And what else we got to do? Hit that thing, right?
Ring that bell.
We lost a bunch of it. I mean, the internet it came back on a little bit, but just something's happening. I don't know whether it's strong.
Thank you, Esteban. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
We out, guys.
Well,